In Protestant usage, a consistory designates certain ruling bodies in various churches. The meaning and the scope of functions varies strongly also along the separating lines of the Protestant denominations and church bodies. History. Starting in 1539, the term was used for a body taking over the jurisdiction in marital matters, and later also church discipline, so that Protestant consistories can be regarded as successors not to the papal consistory in Rome but rather to the courts of Roman Catholic bishops. In the Lutheran or Reformed states of imperial immediacy in the Holy Roman Empire, episcopal offices were not staffed anymore and the secular government assumed the function of the bishop, looked after by the consistories. Not all Protestant churches adopted consistories, especially not collegially governed churches, are often of Reformed or Presbyterian confession. Consistories were either bodies of local churches, or parastatal entities, like in the French model, or they were governing bodies as part of the administration of Protestant state churches. The rather governmental character of the consistory is the reason why the term was given up in many church bodies after the separation of religion and state and the concomitant abolition of the status as state church and the assumption of church independence. In countries under French influence, the Protestants, Calvinists and Lutherans alike, made use of the term in the beginning of the 19th century with the enactment of the Organic Articles, when the movement for political emancipation demanded the creation of a representative body, whereas Napoleon's government simultaneously aimed at gaining influence onto the non-Catholic religious bodies. Roman Catholicism in Napoleon's realm was subject to the Concordat of 1801. The consistories in the French Empire could transact official business with the government in the name of the Protestants and vice versa. Furthermore, the desire for reform among the educated classes demanded the creation of a body vested with authority to render religious decisions. Anglican usage. In Anglican churches, the consistory is the diocesan court, usually presided over by the bishop's chancellor or commissary. It deals with a variety of issues at the diocesan level, and its decisions may be appealed to higher courts in the national church. Usage in Lutheran and United churches. In the Lutheran tradition, and derived from that similarly in some United and Uniting Protestant churches, the consistory is a body governing the ecclesiastical affairs in a specific ambit, comprising either all congregations within a Protestant church body, or only those in a district organization or in a regional organization. In the latter two cases, typical in churches with a congregational polity. The term consistory is also used to designate the geographical area administered by the consistory. In 1539, Martin Luther and his associates established the Wittenberg consistory in Wittenberg upon Elbe, competent for the Lutheran Church in the Saxon electoral district, within the then realm of the Ernestine line of the House of Wettin. Although originally an ecclesiastical court of the Saxon Lutheran Church, the consistory developed into an administrative body appointed by the sovereign to supervise the church within his state. In other Lutheran states, the consistories took similar developments. Consistories, forming executive body of a state church, had often great powers through the authority of the secular government. In history, before separating executive and juridical competences, consistories of Lutheran state churches with central executive powers, therefore usually consisting of jurisprudence and clergy, did also function as courts appointed to regulate ecclesiastical affairs. At times the consistories were parastatal offices in charge of all denominations or even all religions in the respective territory. While Lutheran Lutheran churches often still did not form legal entities distinct from the state. The consistories turned out to be the oldest body of many modern regional Protestant church bodies, which developed into independent legal entities in the 18th and 19th centuries. By the French organic articles, each time several parishes of the EPCAAL form a consistory, terming the board and its district alike. The consistories are religious statutory law corporations of legal entity status. Each consistory holds property of its own and receives contributions by the member parishes. Each EPCAAL consistory comprises all the pastors active in its district and the double number of laypersons, elected in 3-year terms by the local church presbyteries, as well as some members co-opted by the church executive directory. The consistorial members elect from the midst their executive, the consistorial council of 4 members. Consistorial decisions are presented to the French Minister of the Interior, who may oppose them within a 2-month period, and reported to the superior EPCAAL Supreme Consistory. Reformed usage. In the Reformed tradition, the consistory is the authority in the local church, generally made up of all the teaching elders and the ruling elders. The consistory then forms the head of individual congregations, also in charge of implementing the policies of the synod and/or assembly of which it is part, and providing for church discipline of the church members where necessary. A panel, sometimes called the Great Consistory, convoked if considered necessary for special consultations, would include the current consistory and former elders and deacons. Congregations within the Protestant Church in the Netherlands, rooted in the 2004 merged Dutch Reformed Church, often called the local church council's consistorial chamber, a consistory. When John Calvin was invited to take over supervision of the Reformed Church of Geneva, he insisted on the creation there of a new disciplinary institution called the consistory, and actually drafted himself the ecclesiastical ordinances that created it in November 1541. The Genevan consistory consisted of all the pastors on the Genevan Republic's payroll plus a dozen lay commissioners or elders to whom were assigned the duty of visiting households and checking upon the conduct of the inhabitants. The members of the consistory, technically a committee of the city government, were elected for 1-year terms in the elections in which the city government was reconstituted every year. In weekly meetings, the consistory examined people accused of misbehavior. If the charges proved of substance, the consistory had a range of options, including referring the person for counseling or, in more severe cases, to the civil courts. In 1555, excommunication was added to its powers. About 1/15 of the entire adult population of the Republic was annually summoned before the consistory. As much as Calvin's theology, with his emphasis on church discipline, the Genevan consistory gave the city-state particular and the Reformed Church of Geneva its unique lifestyle. Also, in the EPRAL, several parishes form a consistory, with the term used for the board and its district alike. As religious statutory law corporations, the consistories have legal entity status, holding property of their own and receiving contributions from member parishes. EPRAL consistories are made up and organized like their EPCAAL counterparts. Unlike their EPCAAL counterparts, the EPRAL consistories appoint the pastors after proposition by the presbytery of the concerned parish. Consistories today. The Evangelical Church of Berlin-Brandenburg Silesian Upper Lusatia uses the term consistory for its administrative office. This consistory was founded in 1543 and underwent a number of alterations of its official naming and functions in compliance with the development of the Constitution of the Church. Also, the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Latvia and the Protestant Church of Luxembourg use the term consistory for the central administrative offices. The Lutheran Protestant Church of Augsburg Confession of Alsace and Lorraine maintains its supreme consistory, functioning as the supreme spiritual body, and 40 regional consistories, established in 1802 but later partially reorganized and renamed. In the Lutheran Evangelical Church of the Augsburg Confession in Poland, the consistory of the Church serves as the chief administrative authority, and the executive board of the synod. In the Estonian Evangelical Lutheran Church, the consistory is the administrative board of the church. In 2006, the Evangelical Lutheran Church in European Russia established a consistory as its central executive body. In the Evangelical Reformed Church in the Republic of Poland, the administrative body is termed as consistory. In the Protestant Reformed Church of Alsace and Lorraine, 4 consistories form district organizations, each comprising several parishes. Consistories renamed. The 1818 founded Supreme Consistory of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in Bavaria as a decision-taking body was replaced by the Landeskirchenrat. In 1920, its administration division was renamed Munich Church Office. The consistory of the Evangelical Lutheran State Church of Hanover was renamed as Landeskirchenamt in 1924. The consistory of the Evangelical Regional Church in Hesse-Kassel was renamed as Landeskirchenamt in 1924. The consistory of the Church of Lippe was renamed as Landeskirchenamt in 1931. The 1818 founded Speyer Consistory of the Evangelical Church of the Palatinate was replaced by the Landeskirchenrat in 1921. The consistory of the Pomeranian Evangelical Church was converted into the Pommersche Kirchenkreisverwaltung in 2012. The consistory of the Evangelical Church in the Rhineland was renamed as Landeskirchenamt in 1948. The consistory of the Evangelical Church of the Church Province of Saxony was transformed into the Kirchenamt der Föderation Evangelischer Kirchen in Mitteldeutschland. The consistory of the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Saxony was renamed as Saxony Regional Church Office in 1933. The consistory of the Evangelical Church of Westphalia was renamed as Regional Church Office in 1948. Designations for members. The designations for the members of consistories alter as to the functions and status as clergy or laymen. In German, Konsistorialrat and Konsistorialassessor are each used to term both. Consistories often had double leadership, one lay and one cleric. The lay leader is often called consistorial president, a consistorial director, by vocation usually a jurisprudent, while the cleric leaders could be termed general superintendent, a just superintendent, or provost.